Hey, John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com, and for this video, I thought I'd start answering some questions because I get a lot of questions. So I'm going to actually answer a question. I'm going to paraphrase this. We'll see. Maybe I'll try reading the exact question in another video. But for now, I'm just going to paraphrase the question that I got, which has to deal with basically with corporate culture. So I got this question from a former Marine. He had emailed me and said that he's basically retired, or he's out of the service now, and he's trying to get into the corporate culture. And he's a very straightforward type of guy, very action oriented, which is pretty typical of someone who's been in the military. And so he wants to know how he can sort of soften his personality a little bit in order to fit into corporate culture. And I think this is really, this doesn't just apply to someone who is in the military. There's a lot of developers and people that I've worked with in general that have this kind of either they're very direct, they don't beat around the bush, and sometimes that can be a little bit offensive to people, or they just have this kind of overbearing or harsh personality. Maybe you have some issues with either anger management or with you just don't like the BS and you can't stand it, so you call people out on their stuff. So, these are actually, they can be good qualities, especially, I think if you've been in the military, if you know how to take orders and to give orders, that's an excellent quality. I think that's a quality that's missing in a lot of workplaces, to be able to, especially to take orders. A lot of people they can't do what they don't want to do, or they do it resentfully. But if you can be the kind of person that can say, yes, boss, and do what you're supposed to do, it doesn't mean that you don't think for yourself. It just means that you understand that there has to be a chain of command, that there has to be someone who is giving orders, and there has to be someone who's taking orders. More people are taking orders. And it makes you a good leader, because if you can take orders, you can give orders. So, not to sidetrack completely here, but sometimes that characteristics and some of the other characteristics that go along with it, this, drive and let's not bullshit, let's get things done. That kind of attitude, sometimes that can end up, it can end up rubbing people the wrong way, right? Because not everyone works that way, especially in corporate environments, especially in government type of jobs, right? If you come in there and you're like, oh yeah, let's get things done, let's go, 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 and every time that someone does something or is stalling, you call them out on it, you're probably not going to rise in the ranks very fast, because people generally don't like that. So how can you basically take this good attitude of let's get things done, right, and let's move, let's not BS, and how can you temper that in order to make it successful and beneficial? Now, there's a lot of people say, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to play the political games. And that's fine. You can do that, and you can remain in your position for 20 years, never getting a raise or whatever. If you're happy there, fine. But the reality of the situation is we do have to play politics, because politics exist in the corporate world, and that doesn't mean that you're necessarily have to be a brown noser and do everything to rise up the ranks and sell your soul or whatever. But it does mean that you have to balance things out. So one of the things that you can really do is try to keep the attitude of getting things done. Really, keep the attitude of being willing to do what you're supposed to do, of being able to take orders, but maybe temper the give orders a little bit to make it, you really want to, if you're in a position where you need to get other people to do things, sometimes just being the person who has the answer is good enough. Like, you don't have to say, do this now. You can change it and be the person who always has the solution. Lead by example. Be willing to go out there and do what needs to be done. The other thing that you can do is try to help people to come to the conclusion themselves, so they think it's their own idea. When someone thinks something is their own idea, they're more likely to go forward with it and support it. So you just have to sort of take this this personality, this good thing, of this driving force, this energy that you have, and you have to direct it. You have to be when you're put in charge of a project, or when you're told to go and do something. That's when your energy comes full force, and you charge in, and you demonstrate your ability to take orders and to the discipline that you have. But you have to recognize that other people don't have that discipline, and so you have to cut them a little bit of slack. They're not your soldiers. They're not, someone that you can command around. You can't hold necessarily other people to the same standards of discipline that you have. So that's really, the biggest thing that I would say. My advice would be basically, don't try to hold people to your standard, but hold yourself to that standard and show it by example. If you try to hold other people to the standard, if you come off as brash and harsh, you're just not going to get that kind of respect that you would expect maybe in a different environment, maybe in a military type of environment. So you really want to taper that back. Try and come off as personable, as kind, but results oriented. Get things done, yes, but do it mainly by leadership through example instead of by force. So hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that question, might be something that, like I said, even if you're not in the military, if you just are one of those personalities that, and sometimes I can be that, right, in different environments. I've had to kind of back off and, listen and try to not say, no, this is wrong, because I'll be the guy that stands up in the meeting that raises his hand. Nope, this is wrong. I'm telling you this is wrong. I'll tell the big boss that. And that's not always a good thing, right? So you got to be able to figure out how to do things in the right way. You can't embarrass people that are in charge of you. You can't force people that are under you to do what you want. You have to sort of do things in a nice way, and sometimes that takes a little bit of practice. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can check out the backlog of videos I have here, and check out my blog at simpleprogrammer.com. Take care.